I'm here with Coach Brandon Bidding from Central Noble High School. This will be his first season here with the Cougars. Coach, you were here last year. How did the season go last year?
Well, I tell you, it was a very senior-heavy team last year. They started off 0-3, and then they lost a couple close ones along the way. They ended up winning just 3 games through the season, but there was a lot of close games at the end. But beat a good Whitco team in sectional, gave them a lot of momentum, and played Fairfield tough in the second round of sectional. So the season ended very well for the Cougars as far as momentum goes. But again, very senior-heavy laden team. So most of those guys have graduated for us.
So what do you have back on you run a Pro I offense? What do you have back on it this season?
Well, offensively, we have one offensive lineman returning, Jared Gorsuch. He's a senior. He came out this year again. He's the returning offensive lineman. In the backfield, Justin Coney is a junior. He'll be our back that we'll rely on being the guy coming back in the backfield. He ran for 1,000 yards last year as a sophomore. And after that, basically the other 9 positions are going to be pretty much guys that have not had a lot of varsity experience. So it'll be kind of exciting to kind of fill the pieces in. Other than those 2 guys have kind of they've worked hard and kind of got back into their starting spots. So the other 9 guys are just kind of competing right now.
What kind of starters you got back on D?
Well, again, defensively speaking, starting wise, we've got a couple guys that are kind of competing for spots. But for the most part, it's literally wide open. Again, Jared Gorsuch really wasn't a starter last year. He did play for us a little bit. Donnie Johns is a junior this year. He got some serious playing time last year, and he'll kind of be working in that as a starting defensive end. But other than that, we're going to be very young on defense as well because those seniors pretty much filled those spots on defense last year.
Coney rushed for 1,000 yards as a sophomore last season. You got to be pretty excited about having him back again.
Very excited, and Justin has worked very hard in the offseason to strengthen himself and to hopefully even elevate his game. We're hoping even more this year as a junior. We don't want him to have a great sophomore year and then come out his junior year and take it for granted. He's definitely a kid that has worked. He pays his dues in the weight room, works very hard in there. So we're excited about what he potentially can do this year.
With 2 days coming to a close tonight and tomorrow, you head into your scrimmage game. But how do you feel that this team's looking for this season?
Well, I was just talking to some of the parents. I'm excited about facing a different team. We are very small numerically speaking. We only have 35 guys on the team, and so that's a lot of hitting on each other for 2 weeks. And we just need to see another team just to measure where we're at. And so I feel great about what we've done through the first 2 weeks because we've completely put in a new offense, a new defense, new special teams, new terminology. The way we practice has changed. And so you throw all that on a group of guys that are young varsity experience to begin with, they've responded well, and I'm tickled to death with where they're at right now, attitude-wise. Physically, we've come through a very hot 2 days very well. They've battled through the heat. They didn't complain about it. We've just practiced right through it, and I'm just really excited to see what Woodland brings. They're a very senior-heavy team tomorrow night that we'll get a scrimmage against, and so it'll be a great opportunity for us to see a team that has a lot of varsity experience to see where we match up and then learn from there.
Central Noble was really successful in the late 1990s and the early 2000s. What do you feel you need to do to get them back up to that level again?
Well, one of the things, and I've talked about it with a lot of people, one of the things we really believe, we need to rebuild our foundation around just some basic fundamental things about football. And we've talked to the kids, character, determination, and toughness are 3 words we've kind of been preaching to these guys because we really feel like if you can build who we are and how determined we play the game and how tough we play the game, we really feel like if we get that instilled through this year, next year, the upcoming grades see that. We really believe that building our foundation on those things, commitment to the weight room is all part of it, and just package deal it together. We really feel like we're going to try to get back to that point and where we were at 10 years ago.
Looking at the NECC, who do you see as the teams to beat or the conference leaders?
Well, you can't discredit anything that Fairfield and Cherubusco have done over the last few years. They're just well coached. They've got a program rolling. Angola is another team that has a lot of guys back with a very powerful offense this year. So those 3 teams, I would say, are going to be very competitive. And I think the NECC as a whole last year showed that it kind of rose together. And there was a lot of battles week in and week out, even with teams that may not have been there in years past are starting to Fremont's coming along. And I know you just have a bunch of teams like that. But like I said, Fairfield, Cherubusco, and Angola, I think, are three very competitive teams. I know Lakeland in the past has been very tough. They've kind of graduated a lot. They have a lot of young guys coming up, but they're again a program that has been established, so they're going to be another one that'll battle week in and week out.
See yourself in the conference this season?
Obviously with just 3 seniors on the team, our goal this year is to be competitive, and we want to win some games that maybe people don't think we should, and be in all the games we can be in, and just try to develop that never give up mentality this year. We'd love to say that we're going to compete week in and week out, and who knows how if we focus on what we can control and work on our fundamentals, we really feel like we should be able to compete, and who knows at that point where we shake out in the conference.
Having talked to the coaches in the conference, everybody's pretty much said, it's Busco, Fairfield, and Angola up top. But the middle, it's going to be a dogfight for the...
And that's the beauty of where the NECC is becoming. There is no week off. I mean, every game, every week is going to be a battle. And for us, we really believe that's what's going to make us tougher for the sectional play. I mean, because the competition that we're going to face week in and week out is such, we really feel like in the long run, down the stretch, when we get into postseason, it should help.
You've been with Central Noble in the past. You've played Cherubusco. What do you see in Cherubusco?
Aside from a well-coached team, I think first and foremost, Coach Etzler down there with his assistants have done such a great job just getting those guys. They believed, they bought into the weight program. They have developed a very strong football team, a very aggressive football team. They're fundamentally very sound. They run a very sound offense. I've joked with Coach Etzler. There's not a lot of offensive plays, but they just run them so well. Their defense is a very base defense, but they run it well. And so just a very fundamentally sound football team is what you're going to get, and a very aggressive, hard-hitting, they're going to come at you everywhere football team from Cherubusco.